Hello, and thank you for your interest in the High Conflict Diversion Program. My name is Brooke Olson, and I'm the founder and director. The High Conflict Diversion Program is dedicated to bringing a greater understanding of what drives high conflict in family court, both to professionals working with parents in high conflict cases, and to parents caught in the nightmare of a custody battle. As of late, there's been a great deal of research in this area, and that research is continually being disseminated. As you probably already know, there's a percentage of these parents that you just can't seem to get through the system. And this group takes up the majority of the court's time and resources. Studies indicate that this group composes between 20 and 30% of the people going through family court, and that number is not getting smaller. In fact, it is likely getting larger as the current youth population matures. A 2008 U.S. government study of over 35,000 people conducted by the National Institute of Health and National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism indicates that more than 1 in 5 people in the general population suffers from a diagnosable personality disorder. And this is the group that most frequently end up in the highly litigated custody fight. The High Conflict Diversion Program focuses in 2 areas. The first is working with family court and family law professionals to help them in understanding this particular population and in giving them tools by which to manage them. In working with this population, it's important in identifying the couple as high conflict as early as possible, so structure can be put in place to keep the conflict from flourishing, to get the children out of the middle, and to manage the conflict into the future. The High Conflict Diversion Program offers proven, structured systems based on research in the areas of high conflict divorce and custody that allow the family court and family law professionals to create boundaries for these highly litigious people that will allow them to disengage from the conflict and begin to focus on their children, regardless of what the other parent is doing. Frequently, by creating the proper structures for these couples, their trips to court diminish and they begin to deal with the conflict differently. As you may have already noticed, forcing this group of people to co-parent is almost always ineffective and only exacerbates the conflict. Giving them tools such as parallel parenting and structured parenting plans that require little or no contact with the other parent, along with precise, unambiguous schedules, goes a long way in creating the distance between the parents needed to allow the conflict to subside. The vast majority of this high conflict group is literally incapable of stopping their behavior long term. Research in this area strongly indicates that a large portion of this group has a diagnosable personality disorder. And although it's not easy to diagnose these parents, if trained properly, it is possible to recognize their behaviors. This is the first step in creating the structure needed to manage the conflicted couple. If one parent understands the high conflict cycle and is given the structure and management tools to work with, the high conflict cycle can be stopped or at the very least greatly diminished. The second focus of the High Conflict Diversion Program is to work directly with the parents through a concise 12-week curriculum that teaches them to understand the high conflict cycle, what triggers the other parent, and to take responsibility to change their own behavior and turn their focus to the future and well-being of their children. Our experience has shown us that one of the parents in a high conflict divorce frequently has no intention of attending a conflict diversion program, even if ordered by the court. And if they do attend class, will do little to integrate the concepts of the class. The lack of compliance to the court orders is usually a strong indicator of the parent causing the disruption. Consequence for this behavior will help enforce the structure set forth by the parenting plan long term, thus creating a lower probability of misbehavior down the road. The High Conflict Diversion Program requires that only one parent understand and implement the strategies we teach. Even with the changes incorporated by only one parent, the conflict can be stopped. It should be noted that when substance abuse, personality disorder, or other issues of this nature, such as a spouse who can't or won't disconnect, are involved, special and more individualized strategies are required. These are all incorporated in the curriculum and a major focus of the high conflict diversion program. While a peaceful, daily life is an obvious objective, getting there can seem overwhelmingly difficult for the parents and children entwined in the high conflict cycle. Although the conflict itself is stressful, it's also familiar and keeps both parties connected to one another in a painful dance. Disengaging from this pattern is a lot easier with support and guidelines taught by the high conflict diversion program that help make this first step successful.